Hi everyone, I'm Sandra Mom, and as you can see, Ben isn't with me today. Happy New Year to everyone. This is my first video for 2022. I'm hoping that Ben will be with me in future videos. Being that it's a new year, as usual, I always reflect on last year and prior years and what I could do differently. And as I was debating on what to talk about today, I thought, well, let's talk about the last 10 years. Now, Ben has had a substance use disorder for 10 years now, and I wanted to talk about how I dealt with it the first 5 years and how I've been dealing it with the last 5 years. With addiction, there's so many things, whether you're working a program or not, that it affects your life. And just a few things that affects your life. First of all, when there's addiction in your family or a friend, life is chaotic. There are mood swings with the user. There's fear with the loved ones, not knowing what's going to happen. There's stigma, there's shame. There's so much suffering, both the person using and the loved ones. Life's disrupted like no other. It's not your normal, everyday, whatever normal is, family life that you dreamed of for your children. For me, it's my son who has a substance use disorder. There's loss of control, and all events are affected. It's a really tough life. But looking back, I wrote some notes because I know how far I've come, and life can be chaotic and all these things. And for me as a mom, I had dreams when I had kids. I had dreams for them, and I never dreamed that one of my children was going to become an addict. I have 2 kids. I raised them the same. One has a substance use disorder and one doesn't. So it makes you ponder, did I do something wrong? Well, skipping ahead a few years, I've learned that, I didn't cause this. So, Ben's been using for 10 years. And the first half of Ben's addiction, I did crazy things. I was a private investigator. I put myself in danger in some situations looking for Ben. I enabled him. I had no boundaries. I made excuses for Ben, like if he didn't show up for a family event. It was all a secret. Nobody really knew what was going on. I would ask Ben questions like, are you using? What are you using? What are you doing? I would try to tell him what to do. I would try to control his actions. I would try to fix his addiction. Excuse me, sorry. I put up with his negative behavior. I put up with, the yelling, the screaming, the arguing. I thought I could fix Ben. I thought if only he would listen to me, he would be able to quit. Why doesn't he just quit? And what did that do for me? I was exhausted. I was totally drained. I was emotional. I was anxious. It was just hard to function. I stopped living my life. I would cancel things just because I couldn't deal. So, if addiction is new to your family, like I feel you, I know what it's like. Looking back, how did it work for me the first 5 years? It didn't work for me. I was stressed. I was exhausted. So after 5 years of that, living that type of life, how did things change for me? Well, I started to educate myself on addiction. I started to take classes and workshops, and I started to go to support meetings. I discovered that I wasn't alone. I lived in fear before, and I still have some of that fear, but it's not the same. I'm working my program. I've stopped trying to control Ben. I don't ask him if he's using. And the funny thing with that is that I won't ask him if he's using. I won't ask him what he's doing. Now he volunteers information. He usually tells me when he's using, he tells me what he's using. He's telling me what he's feeling, if he's tripping out or, having a bad trip, whatever. It's interesting because back when I used to ask the questions, I didn't get the answers. I got anger and frustration, and I totally get it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have been under the weather. I am a heck of a lot better right now. So, the first 5 years, I was trying to fix them. These last 5 years, what's changed is I started working on myself. And I feel so much better. I'm not as exhausted. I'm living a good life. I'm living my life. And like I say to Ben, you do you, I do me. Because it goes back to, I have zero control over what Ben chooses to do. And in one of my support groups, we learned about the 3 C's. I didn't cause it, I can't control it, and I certainly can't cure it. So yeah, addiction sucks. It's crazy. It's a life I would not want anyone to have to go through. But the reality is I can't tell Ben what to do. He needs to make the decision in making change in his life. And I want to be ready to support him when he is ready to make change. I can't cure Ben's addiction, and I have no control over what he chooses to do. But I do have control over what I choose to do. And I choose to take care of myself. I choose to live my best life. I could look back over the last 10 years and I can confidently say that the last 5 years has been much easier, and I feel like I have my life back because I'm not wasting or using up all my energy to try to change Ben. Working on myself and my program is the best thing that I could do for Ben. I've stopped enabling. I've set my boundaries. And that is what makes life easier for me, because once I realized that I can't make Ben do anything, I started to focus my energy on myself. And when I focus the energy on myself and learning about addiction and what I can and cannot do to help Ben, it makes life so much easier. I think back the first 5 years and some of the crazy stuff that I did in putting myself in danger to try to make Ben change. And I was so codependent on him that I couldn't live my life. It affected my home life. It affected everything. I'm sharing this because the stigma and the shame that is attached with addiction is horrible. And a lot of it, is because people don't understand. People don't understand that it is a disease. People don't understand what we go through when we have a loved one that has a substance use disorder. This is my journey. This is what I've done. It doesn't mean that it works for everybody. I could only share my experience and share how much better my life is when I focus my energy on myself and living my best life. Ben knows I love him. Ben knows I am there for recovery or change, to the point where with my boundaries, I will not put up with his anger. I will not engage. I will hang up on the phone if he starts to go down that rabbit hole. It's gotten to a point where he will catch himself being disrespectful and not nice, and he'll hang up before I do. And so I know the boundaries work for us. The other thing I know is that where there is breath, there is hope. I send you all lots of love. Take care. Be safe. Be smart. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye.